Okay, we are talking today. We're going to be multiplying fractions. That's what we'll be talking about today. And I am on page 201 in the Learn book. So if you need to pause it to open your book to that page and get ready. Today it says we're going to solve. It says draw a rectangular fraction model to show your thinking. Then write a multiplication sentence, which will just be the answer. The first one has been done for you. Now, let's talk just a minute about this phrase that I have at the top. I've got factor times factor equals product. You've probably heard this before. Think about it. When we would multiply whole numbers, 3 times 3 equals 9. That product, 9, was larger than either one of those factors. If I said 2 times 10, that would equal 20. My product is 20. 20 was larger than 2 and larger than 10. When we multiply whole numbers, that is usually the case. Our product is usually larger than either one of our factors. And the reason I'm saying usually is if I said 1 times 1 equals 1, well, that would be the same as our factors. Or if I said 1 times 3 equals 3, well, the 3 would be larger than the 1, but it would be the same as 3. But normally, when we multiply whole numbers, we know that our product, our answer, is larger than either one of our factors. With fractions, that's not the case. You're going to see today, when we multiply a fraction times a fraction, the product that we get is smaller than either one of our factors. Okay, let's get started. All right, it says half of 1/4 pan of brownies equals 1/8 pan of brownies. Now they've got a picture drawn for us. We're going to draw it on our own because I like the way we draw it a little better than the way they had to produce it on this page. So basically what they're saying, half of 1/4. We know half, right? Of means times. We want half of 1/4. This is half of 1/4. So let's draw a rectangle. We're going to do it like an area model. And if we're wanting half of 1/4, that means the 1/4 was there first. So let's draw fourths. Remember to do fourths. We half it, then half the halves. And I want 1/4. So with 1/4, I'm going to do some slanted lines this way. So I did 1/4 vertically. Now I want half of the fourth. I'm going to do that horizontally. That means I want 2 pieces with 1 shaded. So I'm going to divide this in half across this way horizontally. And there's 1 piece and there's 2 pieces. And if I want 1/2 shaded, then I'll shade one of these. And I want my lines to go the opposite direction. So I'm going to shade this side. And you'll see why I wanted the opposite direction. My answer will be where we see the crosshatch or the X's where the pattern's crossed. This is my answer. That is 1 out of 8 in all. See, 1/8. See, this piece, this 1/8, is smaller than 1/2, and it's smaller than 1/4. So that's how we're doing this today. We're going to draw a picture and we're going to write a number sentence. Now, they had already done this one for us. This was mainly an example we were just using. So let's go on to B. Half of, we know that means times, half of 1/3 pan of brownies. So that is half times 1/3. Now, what was there first? If I want half of 1/3, that means 1/3 was there first. So when I draw my picture, I'll do what was there first vertically. That's lines going up and down. 1 out of 3. So let me draw 3 groups. There's my 3 groups. And I want one of the 3 shaded. So I'll go diagonally this way. There's 1/3. Now I want 1/2 of the 1/3. So that means I'm going to go this way with 2 groups. And that means I just need one line. See, there's 1 group, 2 groups. And I want one of the 2 groups. So I'll just, and by the way, remember, we want our lines to go in an opposite direction so that we will see where they cross. See that? Now, when I look and reveal the answer, here it is right here. There's my answer. That equals 1 out of how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1/6. And by the way, this is our multiplication sentence. Remember here they wanted us to write. We're drawing a rectangular fraction, and then we're writing our multiplication sentence, which is right here. Okay, let's look at this one. 1/4 of 1/3 pan of brownies equals, so let's look, equals blank pan of brownies. So I want 1/4 times 1/3. Now, what was there first? If I want 1/4 of 1/3, then 1/3 was there first. And I'll do what was there first vertically. 1 out of the 3. And then horizontally, I want 1/4. So I want 4 groups going sideways. So if I want 4 groups, I need 3 lines. There they are. And I want one of those 4 shaded. So I'm going to cover them all with my finger. That'll help me a little bit. And I'm going to go the opposite direction. And when I reveal it, see, my answer is what got the cross pattern. And that's 1 out of 12 in all. And see, you can see the same thing. If I go 1 times 1 is 1, 4 times 3 is 12. Look at this one. 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 3 is 6. So we're just really just putting a picture with it. Probably drawing the picture is definitely the most confusing part of this lesson, but it gets better. Just hang with me. All right, D says I want 1/4 of 1/4. And I like to look at fractions. I call it a piece of a piece because a fraction is not a whole. Both of these are just pieces of a whole. So I always say it's a piece of a piece. We want 1/4 of 1/4. So let me draw my picture. And I want 1/4 of 1/4. This was here first, right? So I want fourths. And if I want one of the fourths, then I'll do a diagonal pattern over one of them. See, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. And now I want 1 out of 4. I want 1/4 of the 1/4, and I'm going to go sideways, horizontally, 4 groups. See, 1 in the middle, then half my middles. So I'll do, this is 1 group, right? This is 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups. So I'll take one of them, and remember, I want to go the opposite direction of my pattern. And you can see right here, my answer is the one section out of how many? There's 16. So one section out of 16 got both patterns. So to write my multiplication sentence, 1/4 times 1/4 equals 1/16. All right. Let's go to E. I want 1/2 of 1/6. Now think about it. What was there first? If I want half of 1/6, then I have to have 1/6 first to get half of it. So this is what I have. So let me draw 1/6. 2, 3, 4, 5. Not real even, but it's okay. And I want one of the 6 shaded. And then I want 1/2 of the 1/6. So I'm going to come sideways, and I want 2 pieces sideways. So that means I'm just going to cut it in half like this. And I want one of them shaded. So I want to go the opposite direction so that when my lines cross, it makes a crossed pattern, like a waffle weave. So here's my answer. So I'm going to say 1/2 times 1/6 equals 1 out of 12. 1/12. 1/12. Okay? Let's look at the other side. It says draw rectangular fraction models of 3 times 1/4 and 1/3 times 1/4. Compare multiplying a number by 3 and by 1/3. Well, let's look just a minute. Let's do this one first. 3 times 1/4. I'm going to draw my rectangular fraction. And I'll divide it into fourths. And I want 3 of the 1/4. So this is 1/4. This is 1/4. And this is 1/4, right? 3 times 1/4 equals. So here they are right here. So that means I want 3 of 1/4. And to multiply across, I just slap a 1 under it. Remember that? 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 4 is 4. So that gives us 3/4. So that's what you would have if you said 3 times 1/4. Now let's do another model showing 1/3 of 1/4. So I'm going to draw my rectangular model again. If I want 1/3 of 1/4, that means 1/4 was there first. That's what I have. So I want to do fourths. And I want 1 out of the 4 shaded. Right? And now I want 1/3 of the 1/4. So that means I want to go horizontally and divide it into 3 sections. Excuse me. So that means I need 2 lines. See, you see my sections. I've got 1, 2, and then 3 all the way across. And I want 1 of those 3 shaded. So I want to go the opposite direction. And we can see my answer right here. So we know that 1/3 times 1/4 equals 1/12. Almost messed up right there. Equals 1/12. See, it's 1 out of 12 sections in all. 1 had both patterns. So you'll notice the difference. This was 3 times 1/4. This is 1/3 times 1/4. This is not 3. This is not a whole number. This is a whole number, and we can put a 1 under it. See, and when we did that, it still means 3 divided by 1. This means 1 divided by 3. So that's the difference. All right, look at number 3. Half of Isla's workspace is covered in paper. 1/3 of the paper, we know of means to multiply. I want 1/3 of, what was the paper? Look, it says half of Isla's workspace is covered in paper. So 1/3 of the paper, that means I want 1/3 of half. 1/3 of the paper is covered in yellow sticky notes. What fraction of Isla's workplace is covered in yellow sticky notes? Draw a picture to support your answer. All right, let's draw a picture real quick. Representing her workspace. 1/3 of the paper. So we've got to do the paper first before we can get 1/3 of it. And the paper represented half. Half of Isla's workspace is covered in paper. Then it says 1/3 of the paper. Well, what was the paper? The paper was a half. So I went ahead and put it there so I can kind of see my problem. 1/3 times a half. So I want half first. And I'm going to do my pattern going this direction. Now I want 1/3 of the half. So that means I want thirds going sideways. That means I need 2 lines to make 3 sections. See, there's 1, 2, 3. And I want one of those shaded. So I'm going to go the opposite direction. And there's my answer right there. So 1/3 times 1/2 equals one section out of 6. So it would be 1/6 of the workspace. So what fraction of the workspace is covered in sticky notes? 1/6 of the workspace would be covered in sticky notes. Almost done. Let's go to number 4. A marching band is rehearsing in rectangular formation. 1/5 of the marching band members play percussion instruments. 1/2 of the percussionists play the snare drum. What fraction of all the band members play the snare drum? So look, it says a marching band is rehearsing in rectangular formation. 1/5 of the marching band members play percussion. There's our percussionists. So if I want 1/2 of the percussionists made up 1/5. So I want 1/2 of 1/5. So what would be there first? What do I have? I've got 1/5. I'm going to draw that first. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I want one of those fifths shaded. Now I'm going to go horizontally. I want 1/2 of the 1/5. So I'm going to go sideways, and I want it into 2 pieces. 1 of the 2. So now I'm going to shade one of these going this way. Now you see this one section right here got both patterns. So 1/2 times 1/5 equals 1/10. So what fraction of all the band members play the snare drum? 1/10 of the band members play snare drums. Okay. Last one. Marie is designing a bedspread for her grandson's new bedroom. 2/3 of the bedspread is covered in race cars. This problem is a little different, so just listen out for this. 2/3 of the bedspread is covered in race cars, and the rest is striped. 1/4 of the stripes. See, we're not worried about what was covered in race cars. We want 1/4 of the stripe. 1/4 of the stripes are red. What fraction of the bedspread is covered in red stripes? All right. Let's come just a minute. Let's draw this area model. And they're telling me 2/3 of the bedspread is covered in race cars, and the rest is striped. So I know I want it in thirds. It says 2/3 is covered in race cars. So that means this one and this one would be race cars, and the rest is striped. So this would be striped. See, 2/3 race car, 1/3, there's 2/3, and there's the rest is striped. Then it says 1/4 of the stripes. How much is striped? 1/3. See that? 1/4 of the 1/3 of the striped part are red. So, wait, let me go ahead and do my pattern on the striped part. Because it's really asking me, it's telling me 2/3 of the bedspread is covered in race cars. Don't immediately think that you're going to take 2/3 and multiply it times 1/4. Look at what's happening in the problem. 2/3 of the bedspread is covered in race cars, and the rest is striped. Then it says 1/4 of the stripes are red. So we're wanting 1/4 of whatever the rest is. So we go ahead and let's do the thirds, and we go race car, and then striped. So there's my 1/3. I want 1/4 of the 1/3. So I want this in fourths, going across this way. And see, there's one section, 2, 3, 4. It will go the opposite way. And there's one section right there. So we know 1/4 of 1/3 equals 1/12. So what fraction of the bedspread is covered in red stripes? 1/12 is covered in red stripes. Okay. I hope you've understood this lesson fairly well. Remember, let's refer back to factor times factor equals product. We've learned when we multiply fraction times a fraction, the product that we get is always smaller than either one of our factors, our fractions. You'll go back and notice the answer that we got was smaller than either one of our factors. If you have any questions about this lesson, please let me know. Thanks for watching.